For my viewers, I want to introduce you, but before I do that, I just want to ask a couple of questions for the viewers to think about, whether or not they know what EMF is, water structuring, if they know what that is, if they know what happens to our system when we get exposed to 5G and all the radiation that comes from it. I know in the news there has been a lot of conversation around it. I read it. I have a very hypersensitive system, so I keep on top of these kinds of things, everything from mold to parasites to, well, we're currently dealing with COVID, obviously EMF, and so on and so forth. I don't know if my readers know about it or my followers know about it or not, but I did want to talk about that. Before I do that, and I really introduce you, I want to share a little story on what brings you and me here in this moment, okay?
Sure.
And I'm going to show you, unfortunately, this little plant. Uriah, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of crunchy.
It looks dry, yes, it does.
So something interesting happened. My work right now, as is for many people, is all online. I spend a lot of time on Zoom, teaching programs, connecting with people, giving talks, and so on and so forth. And I set up my office. And this little guy here is a very, very delicate plant. Actually, if you saw it when it's vibrant, it's beautiful lime green. And the leaves are very delicate and they just flutter. They're lighter than a feather, And I brought the plant over to brighten up my office at around 4 or so in the evening from my kitchen counter to here. I put it here just to brighten it up. And when I came in the morning at 8 o'clock, this is what my plant looked like. It had dried up and it was crunchy, as you can hear it. There was water in it. It's true that some lighting changed, but never have I seen this plant go through that kind of change in about 14 hours. So I started to get curious in terms of what is it? What happened to my plant? Why did it get like that? And just so that you know, in this room, this is my office, there's the big light, there's my camera, there's my computer, there's my printer, there's my shredder, my wire, my 5G network, Ethernet and router are also here. And so I'm surrounded in EMF. And perhaps I thought maybe this plant, the delicateness of it got zapped. I'll just say that for lack of a better word. And coincidentally, a student and a friend of mine, Bhavani, she that day happened to call me to say, Raj, Didi, that's what she calls me, you do so many sessions on Zoom, we should get you an earthing mat. What is that? And then she explained to me an earthing mat is something that helps us to ground with the earth, reduces the impact of EMF. It's okay, synchronicity, coincidence, it's what I was thinking, looking into. And I said, okay, send it to me, let me see. And then 2 days later, I came across Somavedic, which is what this here is. I'm sure you know, but I'm just letting my viewers know that's what we're talking about. And I'll talk a little more about it and my experience with it. So there was so much synchronicity that I wanted to educate people and bring awareness and attention of EMF. I've been trying it, thanks to you. You sent it to me, and I've been trying it for 2 months, and I've noticed all kinds of changes. So welcome. Thank you. I know you represent Somavedic, which I love the name, Somavedic. I don't know how much you know, but the wisdom, the knowledge that the Art of Living Foundation teaches, which is who I represent, is Vedic wisdom, oneness principle. And Soma, of course, can be a diffuser. It releases things, but it's also what we say gets released when you go deep into meditation. And soma is the aura, the power that you often see on people's faces, the brightness. So I love the name. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. And I really want you to bring awareness and education about EMF. Let's begin with what it is, what you know about it, the impact of it on our physical, mental, emotional health. And then perhaps you can share a little bit about what you've noticed, and then I'll tell you what's happened for me since. Okay.
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me. And yes, the topic of EMF, it's really important, as you just shared a great example with the flowers. The flowers are just one of the examples that we could see how the EMFs are affecting our environment. So EMF stands for electromagnetic frequencies or electromagnetic radiation, which is the like invisible waves or that are radiating from cell phones, from TV, from cell towers and laptops or Wi-Fi routers. And it's a really important technology for nowadays because of course we want to stay connected. I don't have anything against technology. I do love it, but there is some the in terms of safety standards, those are really old and are not updating with the current technology. As you can imagine, the cell phones are with us just quite a short amount of time, just couple of years, let's say, the smartphones, and the number of them and the strength of the signal is exponentially growing. So also our bodies basically are bombarded with exponentially growing strength of the EMF, of this radiation, that in the long term it has a negative effect on our bodies. And there are various studies showing that it's affecting our brain because it's interfering with our brain waves. So it's affecting our sleep. We get tired. We get headaches. One example is, of course, the flowers. There are various studies showing that it's affecting our fertility. So there is a lot of material for someone to study on Google if they would like to. There's plenty of evidence, even though the big companies are claiming something different. But there's definitely when there's too much money involved, like that's what they will try to do. But yes, so there are lots of confirmed studies showing that I don't want to get too much into the science, but in a nutshell, when a like EMF is penetrating our bodies or our cells, the levels of free radicals are growing. So we have, which is basically oxidative stress, and the aging of our cells is faster. So this is going on a biological level, and the more we are exposed to it, of course, the more it affects our bodies and biology. And there are various ways, of course, how to mitigate it, or how to go around it.
Mm-hmm. So no, I totally hear you in terms of the science. I did a lot of research. In fact, you see it in mainstream media also, a conversation about the impact of 5G in terms of brain fog, and there's some conversations around fertility and sleep patterns changing for people. A lot of people also had complaints about like digestion and headaches coming off on frequently. And so for me, I received it. I saw the manual, and it's very simple. You just plug it in basically and put it in your room. And I did that, expecting to sleep better, right? It's the one thing I want. I'm going through menopause. I have heavy metal poisoning, which has crossed the blood brain barrier, and my sleep patterns are not what they used to be. I fall asleep immediately, but in a 2.5 hour cycle on the high side, I wake up. So I thought, all right, let me see what this does for me. And what I noticed is when I had it in my room, two things happened. Number one, I was much more energetic, a lot more livelier somehow. And I don't know if that's a direct impact of this or not, but when I removed it from the room, I didn't have the same energy. Similarly, when I'm doing Zoom calls, right? Oftentimes, because of the bright light and the computer and looking into the computer for 3, 4 days straight at a time, I would notice that my eyes would start to burn, perhaps just from the light of the screen, but maybe there was more going on. Since I used that, the burning in the eyes has reduced drastically. But I didn't see a shift in my sleep. It was more or less the same. And I thought, well, okay, it's working on giving me more energy. When I'm around all these wires and all these computers, I see I don't get fatigued the same way. I see my eyes don't tire the same way, but the sleep piece is not working. So can you talk a little bit about why that might have been the case?
Yes. So first of all, I'll do a bit of explanation of Somavedic, how it actually works, what it is doing, so people get an idea about that. So Somavedic was invented basically out of necessity when the founder, very dear friend of mine, was struggling with his health, and the medicine was not able to help him, the Western medicine. So he started to study Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine and the healing properties of precious stones and minerals. And after some time, he was able to heal himself. Then he started to help other people, and eventually he decided to put all the knowledge and experience into a device, which he called Somavedic. And this was in April 2011. And so inside of each Somavedic, there are like physical precious stones and minerals and precious metals. They that are working in correlation with each other, and they are supporting each other and amplifying each other. So it is creating this coherent field around it. So it's not blocking the EMF, but it is, so the phone is working, your laptop is still working, Wi-Fi, but it is creating its own field where our bodies don't, and cells don't negatively react to the EMF impact. And we do have like studies showing the impact on the biology. But when you said regarding the sleep, there are sleep. If I would sum up the effects of Somavedic on people in general, because we have like vast like huge amount of testimonials. So it would be, the top five would be the sleep improvement, the brain fog, getting rid of that, getting rid of headaches, experiencing more energy during the day, and calmness and not so many, let's say, mood swings. So so this would be in a nutshell what most people experience. They may experience all of them or just some of them, as was with your example, with your case. So the question of the topic of sleep, it's very like complicated and nuanced. So there are so many factors affecting the sleep. But from the experience we had, and by talking to our customers, in if there's a case that Somavedic is not helping with sleep, and is helping with other aspects, then the reason why the sleep is not that well is not mainly the EMF. There must be some kind of other problem. So if only when someone would be struggling with good sleep, and the only reason would be because of the EMF, it would most definitely would be better, would improve. And in your case, there are most probably various things involving the sleep. As you mentioned, during the day you feel its effects, but not on the sleep side.
Yeah. So to be fair, you do make a very valid point. In my case, definitely there's more than EMF going on. If it was just EMF, given that I have transformation during the day, more energy, more quiet, as I say, the burning of the eyes for some reason seems to reduce. I could imagine that sleep would. But what I mentioned earlier is I do have heavy metal poisoning, lead. And there was a chelation treatment done. It went a little bit array, minerals and so on and so forth. And it created a repollution of the lead. And my doctor did say that can affect sleep. So to your point, it may be that. But I really can notice a very clear difference in terms of feeling grounded as well as energetic, And so what happened, it's just a little bit of synchronicity. The plant kind of died, got zapped with EMF. That same day, my friend told me about grounding mat. And 2 days later, I somehow got exposed to Somavedic. I decided to try it. I do have a grounding mat. This is what my friend sent me, The thing, though, about it is, aesthetically, I don't want to keep moving this around from one room to another room. The other thing is only the person using it by keeping their feet or some body on it gets the benefit of it, whereas the Somavedic covers a large radius, meaning the whole house. So anyone in the room, including children who may not stay sedentary on a mat, get the benefits of EMF. So with that said, one of the reasons why I wanted to share it with people is to bring education and awareness of EMF, potentially a solution, the Somavedic. And thirdly, what I liked is I did some research with your company. There is a 60-day full refund policy. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. I'll get back to the refund policy. I just wanted to add, in terms of the education and awareness, it's really important to talk about it, about the effects of EMF, because it has a huge effect on us, and especially on our children, because they have a thinner bones, so the penetration is deeper, so they are much more vulnerable to that. So this is definitely a topic to talk about. And yes, as we have, as I mentioned, what the people are experiencing when they have Somavedic at home, there are of course people that don't feel anything at all, like nothing. This doesn't mean that the Somavedic is not working. Just for some reason they don't feel its effects. For example, I'll share a really short story. We've sent Somavedic to one chiropractor for weeks, and then we had a call, and he said, "Juraj, you know what? I don't feel anything." I was thinking like, this is strange, but yes, this happens. But then he continued and he said, "But my wife, she loves it. she sleeps better, her headaches are gone. I'm not giving you the Somavedic back because she's happier and I want to keep her happy. So so sometimes it of course may happen. Or I mean women are much more sensitive, so and intuitive and everything. So sometimes this happens. That's why we have a 60-day like money back guarantee, where anybody can try it out and experience it if it's working for them or not. And in case they don't feel anything, they or their children or their partners or even their pets, because it is affecting the pets as well. We've known that from various testimonials. Then if nothing of is happening in the family, they can basically return it in the 60-day time window.
I think you made a very important point. Oftentimes, it's the ones who are sensitive and aware recognize the change. It doesn't mean nothing is happening. Just like with meditation and breathing and food, for instance, different people are more sensitive, so they realize the impact of food more quickly, whereas other people don't necessarily recognize it. So I like what you said about the thinner bones. So that means even for elderly, particularly women, we lose bone density, right? So I can see that it could have a bigger impact on children, elderly. Maybe when we're sick, there's even more impact of the EMF on our body versus when we're just healthy and vibrant and moving around. So what I loved about it is that it covers the whole house rather than me needing a mat for the feet and then one for the bed and then one for the kitchen, or moving it around constantly. So
Yes.
that was great for me.
Yes. I do have one short story to share, as you showed the flower at the beginning. So this is also one of the things I would say when I mentioned the top 5. This would be on the 6th place, where people may they see that the flowers grow faster and are bigger. One of my friends, he lives in Silicon Valley. He sent me a photo and he said, Juraj, we've never had these big flowers. The leaves are 4 times stronger. And and we keep getting this feedback that it has, as the field of the Somavedic is about 100 feet radius into all directions, so it's creating this coherent bubble around it. It has effect on everything living that is within it. And of course, when you water the flowers with the structured water that the Somavedic is doing as well, then there's additional benefit to that.
And for those of you who are interested, you can look down there on my caption and you'll get more information about it. Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'm really glad that it's working for you.